Hey everyone, this is Ryder from YoGov and Skip, and I've got some important breaking news regarding the immigration ban that President Trump has been tweeting about and talking about for the last couple days. We now have some clarity on what this means, who it affects, and for how long. The White House just put this up on their website in the last couple hours, so I'm going to go over this and explain again who this will affect and who it doesn't affect in terms of immigrants to the U.S. So thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. And please subscribe and share this if you think someone else would benefit from seeing this as well. It means a lot to us. Okay, so let's dive in. Again, because of the COVID-19 national emergency, the president of the United States has the authority to do things like this, and he put up this proclamation earlier today. I'm going to point out a few important things, and then, of course, get to specifics. That's the most important thing you're probably interested in. So this first part of the proclamation is more of the rationale, because we're contracted economic situation, 20% unemployment, etc., etc. Stuff that has been disproven, right? I mean, for a long time. But anyway, here's part of the rationale that is that is worth noting, that he put in because of lawful permanent residence, right? So this really mainly affects immigrants applying for green cards, as in like lawful permanent residents, because once admitted, they are granted open market employment authorization. So this may affect thousands of people in the next 60 days. We're not talking likely tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands more, and I'm going to go into why in a couple minutes. But lawful permanent residents, as he puts it, may take other jobs, jobs that quote, Americans would also be eligible for. So that's why he's issued this. And it says here, in light of the above and all this rationale, you can read on your own. I'm going to link to this in the description so you can read it yourself. It's worth going through just to see the language he uses. In light of the above, I have determined that the entry during the next 60 days of certain aliens as immigrants would be detrimental to the interest of the United States. Okay, so who does this affect? So Section 2 here goes into it, who it would affect. But broadly speaking, the immigrants he's referring to are people applying for green cards from an embassy abroad. There are some exceptions. If you're coming in on the EB-5 investor program, for example, you're accepted. And if you're applying for F1, F2A, F2B, F3, F4, or a DV, this would apply to you. And I'll put in some of the terminology in the description too, and what that means. And it will affect you if you are in that immigrant category, if you are outside of the U.S. as of this proclamation. So if you're here in the U.S. now, it won't affect you. But if you're outside of the U.S., you don't have an immigrant visa, and you don't have a travel document, this will apply to you if you're applying for, again, green card or as a lawful permanent resident in the certain categories that I just mentioned. This doesn't apply to you if the following, this B section is quite long. It's important to note. So if you're already a lawful permanent resident of the U.S., if you're a healthcare professional, physician, nurse, etc., this doesn't apply to you. Again, like I mentioned, if you're applying a part of the EB-5 program, immigrant investor program, doesn't apply to you. If you're married to a U.S. citizen, if you're under 21 and the child of a U.S. citizen, and a few other points here that you can read here too. But those are important to note. So I think in the last 48 hours, there's been a lot of fear over who this would apply to because nothing has been written in specific detail. So now we have some of that. But obviously the scary part is, that there is this executive power because we're in a national emergency. And so Section 4 and 5 here point out, obviously this is valid for 60 days, but it can be extended, right? And so with a lot of this, as things evolve, there's always the fear that more will be included. But so far, it seems limited in scope, which is important to note. And the effective date is tomorrow, Thursday, April 23rd at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. Okay, that's when it goes into effect. And again, here, it can be extended. So no later than 50 days from this effective date, a recommendation can be made to continue or modify this proclamation. So this does not affect people on non-immigrant visas of any kind, like an F1, J1B, or non-immigrant work visas, like an H1B. Okay, so that's important to now note. The distinction between immigrant and non-immigrant types of visas. So again, I'm going to leave a link to this, but please feel free to comment. I know there's been a lot of threads on this already. Hopefully this provides some clarity for people. And thanks again for watching. Most importantly, hope wherever you are, hope you're staying safe, staying healthy, and staying home. All right, take care.